You say, this is a bad life, and you say, this is a good life. And then you say that's, and then you make a side move, which I would say is that that's an objectively verifiable fact. I would say, I don't think it is an objectively verifiable fact. I think it's a fundamental moral claim. And I think that's where you put your stake in the ground. And I would say, when I read that, I thought, well, if you take your jungle story, which you've extracted from a bunch of horrors and compiled, and you take your positive story, which you've extracted from a bunch of horrors, or a bunch of quasi-utopias, let's say, and compiled, you're 2/3 of the way to a landscape of hell and heaven.
Right.
Well, so then why not continue the abstraction and say, look, what we're really trying to avoid here is hell.
Oh, yeah.
What we're really trying to move towards is heaven. Yeah, but but
well, no,
as soon as you do that, you're in a religious landscape.
No, but my name for hell is... It's very interesting because, like, you and I were talking about this at dinner. We were talking about this at dinner and how the overlap or lack of overlap between our audiences, and so like I just heard from your audience there, and
you might have heard from the odd convert.
But what's amazing to me is I have to do some work to figure out what point they think you made. Because
wait a second. Wait, no,
hold on.
No. I said if you're going to produce a fiction, why not go right to the end?
Okay,
because you did produce a fiction.
You can tell stories by way of communicating certain ideas. I mean, that's obviously, I'm not saying stories aren't incredibly powerful and useful and inevitable, right? It's like wait,
I think you are. You might not be saying that they're not inevitable, but you are debating their utility and power. Because you said that you don't need the story as an intermediary.
I'm not. Now we have a few doors open here, which I think we should we should extract the most out of these areas that we've touched and not run on to something else. So I think there's to talk about the utility of story, right? Which is obviously a fact about the world and about human psychology that you're reading a lot into and more into than I'm reading, right? And the people we just heard from love that you.
Well, maybe I'm reading more into it than you are. I'm not sure about that.
But you talk a lot about the primacy of stories, and you are trying to get me to admit that even I helplessly resort to storytelling to make my points, right?
Well, you did there.
I think this is a good place for us to, and I don't want us to get bogged down, but I think it's a good place for us to touch this topic of the distinction between literal and metaphorical truth, which you might want to introduce it, but because that in my mind that covers this different emphasis on stories.
Okay, briefly, but we are at 60 minutes, and we had agreed to go an hour and 15 before we start Q&A. So I agree that metaphorical truth is relevant here. Metaphorical truth is my argument that there are some things which are literally false, but if you behave as if they were true, you come out ahead of where you would if you behaved according to the fact that they are false. And so that these things hover in a kind of intermediate space. To call them false is incorrect.
Right. And I hear Jordan wanting to call them true because they're so useful. Right.
Well, but you also look, this is what happens in the moral landscape, I think. Tell me why I'm wrong, because I'm really trying to understand it. See, I think you dealt with G.E. Moore's problem of infinite regress by staking a moral proposition. And your moral proposition was, look, here's a way things can be horrible, and here's a way things can be good. Can we accept that this is horrible and this is good, and that we should move towards good? And if the answer is yes, we can accept that, then we can proceed. And maybe we can even proceed with extracting values from facts, but we have to accept that a priori presupposition first. And you insist that we have to accept it because it's objectively true. And I don't think that's correct.
So let me just get the proposition clear. So my argument is that the worst possible misery for everyone is bad.
That's hell.
Okay, so hell is the religious version of that, but you can forget about religion or whether there's a God or anything else. That we live in a universe that admits of the possibility of experience. I'm asking you to imagine a universe where every conscious mind, every mind that can have an experience, is tuned to the worst possible experience for that mind for as long as possible. So there's no silver lining, there are no lessons learned. Everything that can suffer suffers as much as it possibly can for as long as it can. Now that includes human beings, it includes animals, it includes future AI that we might build that can suffer. It includes beings that we'll never know about, right? So my argument is that's bad. If anything is bad, that's bad.
Okay, we don't disagree that hell is bad.
If the word bad is going to mean anything, that's bad. And you can't say...
That's fine, but it's not a factual claim.
No, it is. It's a claim about... So I would argue to you, and again, it's hard to impart this intuition if someone doesn't share it, but if someone doesn't share this intuition, I have no way of interpreting any other word that comes out of their mouth after they admit they don't share this. So I mean, so just imagine someone saying...
But even that doesn't make it a factual claim.
No, so again...
So you guys are going to get stuck here, and I think you're going to...
Yeah. No, again, give us 1 more minute.
Okay, one more minute.
1 more minute, because I don't think we'll get stuck here. Every claim we make about anything, at a certain point, if you trace all the tools we're using down to, turtles all the way down to something that we can't explain and justify, right? This is true of physics, it's true of mathematics. I just said it was true of arithmetic. Gödel proved it's true of arithmetic. I mean, we have intuitions of truth that can't be cashed out by recourse to the system itself. And it's true morally, I would argue, in this sense, that yes, the worst possible misery for everyone is bad. And if you're going to say, well, okay, who knows? Maybe it's good.
What does bad mean?
What bad means means that...
Again, you guys are going to get stuck. Let me try to help.
It's okay.
Really.
It's okay. What does bad mean?
I agree with you. I really think that we're going to go down a rabbit hole here, and we'll never come back out.
This is a crucial issue. It's an absolutely crucial issue.
This is why you get stuck.
All right, so we have a mutiny here. We're at war with our moderator.
Yes.
Give us 2 more minutes, because it is crucial.
Okay. Well, so let me.
I mean, honestly.
By the way, I have a prediction that in 2 minutes we won't be any farther than we are now.
Okay, let's bet. I'll bet you $1. You're literally playing devil's advocate here, because you don't believe that that hell might be good.
No,
right?
Of course not.
Okay,
I didn't say that for a second.
So you're willing.
I agree that it's bad by definition.
This isn't I would argue that anything you would, if you're going to use the word bad and good, or better and worse, or make any value judgment about anything, it will, implicit in those judgments will be an acknowledgement, whether you're going to acknowledge it or not when I put the question to you, that the worst possible misery for everyone is bad. You can't use the word bad unless you're going to acknowledge that.
I'm not disagreeing in the least about that.
Okay,
not a bit.
So it's built into your good and badding with respect to every other situation in life.
Fine, I agree.
Like, if you're going home tomorrow and a bus drives by and cuts your hand off, and you say, well, that was bad. It only makes sense with reference to this underlying claim. Well, it would be worse if the other hand got cut off too, and everyone's hands got cut off.
You're beating a dead horse here, man. I agree with you.
So I'm saying that everyone assumes this, whether they claim to or not.
Okay.
This is how I bring G.E. Moore's argument to end.
Yeah, right.
He says his argument depends on it being intelligible at that point to say, well, is that really bad? Is it really bad? Okay, well, what would really bad be if the worst possible misery for everyone didn't get you there?